Yeah, and that's going to be so important for Canada to get in there, rank 1. They'll get to play the worst ranked team coming out from the quarterfinals. And for Russia, of course, a very important game to pick up a win here and make sure they get through to those playoff stages. Here.
Well, as we get going here for this session 15, Russia taking on Canada. It is a pivotal game. Russia mixed up their lineup a little bit yesterday, bringing in Anna Sidorova to play lead last night. It's a stretch of 3 straight games to try and keep them fresh.
Yeah, maybe giving a break to their normal lead law sweeping this week, but also just maybe bringing on Sidorova to keep her warm, just in case something happens. Always nice to keep your fifth a little bit warm, giving them a chance to get on the ice, so it's not too unfamiliar if they actually have to step into the game. And of course, with 12 games this week, it's always nice to give your fifth a chance to give it a go.
6 ends minimum as we look at the rules of play. 38 minutes of thinking time, 1 60-second timeout. Well, they're awaiting the go-ahead, as usually do. Canada, only one time this week they haven't had last stone in the first end. Been strong with the last stone draw challenge, which is important. Of course, getting into the playoff round, no tiebreakers. If there's a tie that can't be broken up based on head-to-head record, it'll go to the last stone draw.
Yeah, both Canada, Russia and Sweden have on average less than the diameter of a stone from the pin, so meaning they're on average actually touching the pin for every draw. It's pretty impressive.
Don McEwen for Team Canada with that centerline guard to start.
Line's good, Bruce.
Canadian side been very effective with the hammer, and it's always easier. You start a game with the hammer, even if you score, going to be better position.
Keep going, you got it, keep going. She thought she threw this okay, tell her that, okay? Too much ice.
Julia Guzieva. Right around top of the 12-foot. Russia sitting at 6-2, and one of those 2 losses was a game that they'd love to have back too. They'd have a chance to tie Canada with record if they gave up 4 to China to lose a game in the 10th end.
Yeah, it'd be hard not to look back to that game if ends up being crucial in terms of the playoff stages. Then again, you're just going to have to put it behind you and do whatever you're able to do, and that's what's happening right now in the next games coming up. No reason to cry over spilt milk.
Just clean it up, pour another glass, and get on with your days. That one goes deep in the rings for Don McEwen. Puts up the heart of the rings. Canada with the hammer. This first end, of course, we'll keep you up to date with all those other games going on. Important playoff positioning going on. Oh, look at this weight control right in behind. To the button, to the Ford logo. And Canada's got to start to rip. Jill Officer, who's not using the word retirement, is taking a step back from the game following this year.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it. Okay.
Just gets the single peel. Shot Stone right on the button.
Start of the week with a 100% game. Followed with a couple of games in the 90s as well, but haven't quite been able to keep quite the same numbers. But still one of the best seconds in the field so far.
Well, the top right now is Galina Arsenkina, 90%.
It's pretty good shooting.
Well, Canada continuing their run of facing off against teams that played at the Olympic Winter Games. They had Korea yesterday afternoon, won that one. Sweden yesterday evening, beat them. And now here against the Russian team that was at the Olympic Winter Games.
Oh, bit of a wobble from Officer. Might recover though.
Reset herself, and the extra extension rotation she puts on those. Gets those top two reds off. Still that one on the button. Julia Portunova, 23-year-old, third, was the alternate at the Olympics and is now stepping in play full-time at the third position. 2013 World Junior Champ. And as the skip for Team Russia. Caitlin Law is the youngest member of this Canadian team. Started curling at just 4 years of age. Didn't have much choice but to be a curler when you're starting at 4.
It doesn't get the double, but leaves the shooter in play, or in the house rather. So that's becoming a worry for Moiseva. Can't really afford to leave too many opponent stones in around the house when Canada has the last stone. Lots of yellow stones up front as well. Even if you guard up the red here, there'll always be a chance for Canada to get to that red stone by playing a run back. So they'll be hitting the stone on the wing to try and lie to. Makes the steal a bit less likely.
Inside on that. Taps that one through, and it's a good shot. It's in front of the tee line. Canada got away with a little bit of trouble yesterday in some of their games with poor rock or stone placement. They got deep in the rings.
I thought it might curl there early.
Yeah, and I kind of just wanted to make sure I was positive. I figured hitting and rolling.
No, that was it. Was fine. Yeah, I just
didn't want to hit the thread.
Like that really finished. I thought was the less weighted. And we didn't really have to come close to the front on your first one to make a half decent shot.
No.
So.
Ну да, 0-1, наверное. Ну да, вроде как это случайно. Давай.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, I just didn't know.
I was like, it must be big because it's not moving.
Nice shot. So she makes this to like just using like.
Victoria Moiseva, 27-year-old. Her first World Championship. Played at 2 World Juniors and Olympic Winter Games, a European champion 2016. Now Freeze trying to close in that scoring zone on the Canadian side.
This one. Would you like just the nose? Try to get low. Then she can hit it, but that should be okay. We still got this catcher back here. Might have a double. Do you like hitting it?
I think so.
Okay, 10.
Okay, you got it.
Knows this one, or are they talking about a roll?
Couldn't quite hear it, to be honest. Is that a rhetorical question?
I'd like to draw. I'd say. Yeah, you have to go a little wider. Why? Just go.
Even if they roll and leave a double in the forfeit here, Russia might leave a double right back to score 2, bringing that stone in the back 12 into play.
Canada lying 1. Jennifer Jones playing the hit. 2 huge victories for the Canadian side yesterday, including that one against Sweden. They hold the tiebreakers against the Swedes and Korea. Russia 2 games back, wants to bring Canada back to the field. Well, they got to get past that red top of the forefoot. Get by, let it roll. Too far, is it?
That curls or rolls just a couple of inches less. It's perfect. It leaves the jam on the shot zone.
Okay.
Still pretty good there, though. Sits 2. Shot zone probably still jams.
Can't get.
And does have to deal with that guard, so important stone coming up.
The key here for Moiseva is to play the tap on the red. You won't mind killing at least one yellow here, just in case you get it a bit wrong, so throw enough weight to kill that yellow stone in the back of the 4. But most importantly, try and leave the reds frozen, preferably angled towards that yellow stone that will be left on the button. If you roll a bit too far here, leave a bit of a stagger. It could be a very easy double for Jennifer Jones. Potentially to score 3. An end that really looked very controlled by Russia is now
Yes.
a bit of a tight spot for Moiseva with her last one.
They got to try and hold their shooter with this one.
It's going to sit on the face of the red, but this rolls away. Doesn't even kill that yellow, but rolls far enough that it's probably not a double, or
I don't think.
not sure if Jones will take it on at least.
I got no space.
There is a draw for
Do I
2.
have any?
No.
I don't think.
Maybe a sliver.
Got it.
I don't need a lot of it to make that, but chance to score a deuce. If this was the only option, they might play it. Draw for 2 or risk a shot and lose an opportunity to score those multiple points.
For 4.
In the end, I don't think
Third gets
Moiseva
it,
could
right?
have done much more.
Yeah. I have an inch. It's a third, right? That double?
Okay.
Tempting because it is for 4.
I don't have to move it. Okay, it's no risk. There's no way I'm going to curl and.
Okay, let's play then.
Do you like trying it with board?
I only have to get them both out of the 8-foot.
It's like a quarter to go by this.
Okay, let's just draw.
Are we a little further over then?
Maybe also thinking that the draw is not automatic here. It's not the path they were playing in the draw shot challenge. I was coming the other way towards the hack Jennifer Jones is kicking out from. So it might be a tiny bit of a guess coming out this path in the first end.
Whoa, then.
Well, it was their game last night. They had a draw for a second point, and she failed to get there. This needs the 4-foot.
You need a rob, Caitlin.
That's when if you miss this draw, that's when you'll regret not going for the big shot.
Well, they won't get the rub. It'll go right by. Goes back 12-foot, a quicker spot, and it's only 1. So 2 straight games. Jones misses an opportunity for 2 in the first. Still has the lead, but only a single point.
I thought being out wider it might come off. Sorry.
Well, we start the second end, Russia, Canada. It is Russia with the hammer after Jennifer Jones decides to play the safe shot, trying to draw for 2, and it slid deep, meaning only a single point.
The double looked pretty difficult too. I wasn't sure if he was perfectly there. Had to really catch the top one thick enough to be close to at least touching your shot stone in the forefoot to try and roll over and catch that on the winger if you wanted to score more than the 2. You could hear Caitlin Law say that at the very end. The quarter to avoid the jam, but it was probably a third to try and catch the winger. So it was a little bit in a grey area in terms of if the shot was on or not. But when you miss the forefoot draw, again, that's when you go, should have gone for the double. Had to go.
Yeah, if going to score 1, you might as well give it a shot for 4, but the guard goes well out in front. That's a long guard. It'll be really tough to use because it's out on that high set of logos.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see if Russia actually throws another corner guard around it. Or if they'll play this defensively. But tough to use that corner for anything. For now, we'll just play the hit and roll. Good thing for Russia is the stones are so high up in the house that make the hit and roll just being the 12 foot, so makes it a tiny bit harder to come around that corner. Just gonna have to make a perfect roll though.
Well, eliminates one of them, trying to make the roll over. Obviously, those the guard placement crucial. Trying to set up any chance of scoring. These have been the 2 best teams at scoring multiple points with the hammer. Canada had a chance for one in the first.
Well, actually, Russia with the best last stone efficiency in the field. Scored 2 or more. Almost 60% of the time, so interesting to see how many points they generate with the last stone advantage. But then again, you look at Canada's force efficiency, 71%, which is just ludicrous.
Well, Russia not far behind that at just 69, so both teams good at both sides. The only difference, the 1-4 that was given up by Russia.
Sounds like a game you might see a lot of singles, and we already have the 1, although that wasn't a perfect force from Russia. Still just the 1 point on the board for Canada.
Same weight. No, same weight. Got it.
Want to try and guard up their stone. Just trying to control that area out in front. Arsen Kina try and make the double. I'll get one. Clip the second one. Still leaves Canada line 1 with a center line guard and a corner guard out in front. Well, they draw in. Doesn't bury. It's still about half open, enough that you can see to hit and roll in front of the other stone on the wide side, playing away from the center. Well, make the double even better. Sit on the side, just one stone in the rings. Much different look than that first end of play. Caitlin Laws just roll into the 8-foot. So the young kids all dressed up in red and white, sporting the maple leaf. Nice morning at the curling arena from school. A little field trip.
It's not a bad day of school.
Like I said to Hans earlier this week, it's always fun because event in Canada when I was going to school, you knew there's probably one day during the week that you get a chance to go to the curling and go ahead, get lots of sugar and run around and be loud. Well, trying to make the roll. Will it go behind the long corner? Real nice effort for Porchanova, but even if it did get buried, there's lots of room to get around and get to it. Look at the Russian bench there. Anna Sidorova in the middle, the reigning world silver medalist. Sergei Belanova on the left, the team coach. Of course, Sidorova playing last night, throwing lead stones. Sidorova's team that Moiseva beat in a best-of-7 to qualify for the Olympic Winter Games and here for the Worlds. They want to try and roll to the center if possible.
One last chance here for Moiseva. Make the roll, set up for 2. Don't make the roll. Jones can make the roll. Might force you. Good thing is that center guard is red.
Make the roll. It's Jones having to play a freeze or the run back of an opponent still. And no roll whatsoever, right on the nose. Both sides trying to make that roll throughout the end, trying to use the cover. After the win last night, Jennifer Jones, the only unbeaten team, coming in 8-0. but too thin. There's a split possibility.
It's there. I'm not sure if I feel it's worth the risk.
Yeah, I said it a bit, but sorry, guys. Went for it, like I.
Yeah.
Gonna have to gauge what's tougher, to make the split or score 2 in the next end.
Если даже не больше. Ну, попробуем. Если что, это будет обнуление. Ну, если он не довалит, ну или один.
Well, this definitely looks like they're giving it a run. I think you take a shot at it. It's foot 2 feet out in front. Throw backline weight or enough to just get through that if you do miss it, you go right through and you get a blank. But not the end of the world to take one as well if you're giving this one a go.
Not easy, but this would be a great one.
Last stone here, Victoria Moiseva. Got to chip that one in and roll their shooter. Guzieva, Arsenkina on the brush. Well, chip that one in, and they overswept it. Will it stick around? It does, so they will take a single point. Missing the split, a little missed sweeping call. And it is a 1-1 game as both teams miss an opportunity at deuces through 2 ends. Well, thanks for watching our continuing coverage, the Ford World Women's Curling Championship 2018. Lukoli Sandarovog here this morning for Russia versus Canada. Russia coming in 6-2 record, Canada 8-0. Canada can separate themselves a little bit from that number 3 seed with a win here in this game. They already hold the tiebreaker against Sweden, who's sitting at 2nd. Korea, who's tied with Russia right now at 6-2, is off this session. Will put them one step closer to clinching a spot straight into the semifinals. Both teams missing opportunities at 2s early on in this game, and they've both been very efficient in scoring 2s, but also good at forcing their opponent. So right now the defensive battle winning on a couple of misses by skips.
Well, we did say that the two teams are the best at forcing this whole week. So won't be surprised to see a few singles up on the board, but like you said, both ends, there's been a chance for the two, just haven't taken them.
They weren't gimme shots by any means, but they weren't the high level of degree of difficulty that you might see some teams have to play. It was a draw to the forefoot and a split. Split wasn't easy. It was a couple feet out of the rings for Russia in that second end. So right in on top. Keep you up to date. All the other games as well. Over on sheet A, Sweden at 8-1 takes on Japan 4-4. Japan started with the hammer, scored 1 in the first, a blank second. So Sweden has the hammer up 1-0 in the third on that game. 1-0. It is Switzerland leading the Czech Republic. Switzerland have the hammer in the first, scoring 1 there, and then a blank second as well. So Czech Republic, Anna Kubeshkova, the hammer in the third. We're on sheet D, trading deuces. Denmark steals 2 in the first. Scotland gets 2 back in the second, so 2-2. Denmark at 2-6, Scotland at 3-6. 6-6, sort of a possibility. You got to get there first and see how it plays out to have the thought of a chance of that making it into a tie for that playoff spot, and hopefully your head-to-head record or draw shot challenge wins it out.
Nice spot there. Get some good angles. You see Russia runs the guard back now. Both the yellows could go and leave all 3 reds in the house. Probably will see Russia play the run back at some point, try and open it up a little bit. Canada do have the shot stone, so Russia would like to move it and also just try and open up the scoring area a little bit. Or rather, Canada would be doing.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
It is early. Still trying to figure out what day of the week it is. Thursday morning, I believe.
Yeah, it's just it's tough to score a 2 just in the forefoot around the center guard.
Not bad, really.
Well, chips off that middle red.
Russia, of course, quite happy to just keep everything on the center line, clutter it up. If they can put a stone right in the pocket of that red and yellow top 4, it'll be pretty tough to get out for Canada.
Well, it's the cat-mouse game, battling of the angles. How important it was that first placement of the stone by Don McEwen and Team Canada.
It's pretty good to get top 4 and not slide deep and allow Russia to come in for shots. But at the same time, the positioning of the Russian stone's been pretty good up until now.
Mistake from Arsenkina, and she hasn't made many all week long at 90%.
Like, can we? That's not bad.
Just throw here.
Like,
No, 3/4. A thick half. No, thick half if you want to get behind. 9.
So you can see Canada's thought here, even if they have shot stone, kind of want to make sure they open the center a little bit here. They're looking for the double on the guards, either to stick right there and protect their yellow, or even slide into the house for another counter.
Whoa.
Well, they'll end up running it into the pack and leaving Russia lying shot.
Okay.
That didn't work out very well for the Canadian side.
I did not want to kill their own shot zone there. Only good thing is they've opened it up a little bit, jiggled the stones around.
Не нравится, нет. Зачем?
I think it's tempting to hit one of hit that open yellow one and sit there.
Но она может что-нибудь здесь сделать, у нас будет не так много уже. Мне кажется, стоит вот так. Да, надо.
At the same time, we've seen Moiseva quite willing to throw guards.
Если что, будем болеть. Не мягко, точно.
In the end, it will be the hit.
Чуть-чуть подержит в начале, и потом хорошо повалит.
Hit the Yellowstone to the right of the broom we just saw. Maybe try and roll in. Maybe even roll past your own here. Kind of nestle up against that yellow. Not going to roll very far though.
Well, Russia 1, 3, 4, and 5 in the house. A lonely yellow in there. Tough to make that double on the center line now without touching your yellow.
My first thought. I can't believe how much.
We just ripped this double.
Or you're just
Dead nut it?
yeah, trying to jam
Right
that.
into that one? Yeah, the angles would be better. Okay.
I'm thinking like a
We
nine,
just got
so
to
I
make
can
sure we
roll
don't
this one.
touch this one.
Yeah, and I want to try and make sure I roll. Like
Nine.
I'd rather hit like 7/8 and try and make sure I roll. So
I
I want to
agree.
make sure I was a 9.
I like a 9.
Okay.
Jill didn't throw. I thought she was quiet too,
Yeah,
and she
it
was
was.
soft.
Yeah.
So
So
I think
like
this will run.
3/4 is close.
Yep. I just don't want to. We can't hit this too thin. I don't want to pop that out.
Well, they like that they have one guarded right now. They're trying to
Basically,
keep their shooter in front. It's a setup shot, trying to control out in front.
don't want to clip the side one that's here. Just trying to dead jam it. 9.
Hard! Whoa! Yes! Hard!
So quiet.
No roll, no roll.
Well, they didn't want to touch that one in the top, and they'll leave Russia 1-2.
Cute curls there.
So a couple errors, and Russia can try and be in a position to get the force.
Would love to play the hit and roll here. Maybe roll all the way to the forfeit too. But hanging a bit wide, so trying to carve it in for an extra curl. That usually means you're a high side though.
Молодец.
Just nose.
We're third.
Here? Or here, I mean, sorry? Yeah.
That's a big difference, rolling a little bit or sitting where it does. They want to roll away. Will sit shot stone right in front of that one in the back.
Не, да, изнутри. У меня была троечка.
Туда рольчик нужно.
Ага.
С этой просто сильно.
Would we play
I think I'd go behind the yellows.
Okay, she'd have to overall then to do that.
I think they're actually looking to hit and
Yeah.
roll behind
Well,
their own reds here.
I thought she said she wanted to roll
Seemed like
behind the
Moiseva
reds.
was afraid that if she makes the roll in behind the yellows, you might see kind of make that double run on the yellows and get shot stone buried. We'll see. At least want to try and avoid the jam in the back. Definitely rolling to the right, just too far.
They don't roll on the Fortuneva's last. They roll too far on Moiseva's first. Now a chance. Jones can bring that top stone into play.
We've seen a few shots over curl on takeouts in around the 4-foot lines. Melissa Drova
Has a smile for all of them. And
she's playing yesterday as lead. You know, it was very strange to see her sweeping.
it's been she had been to 4 straight world championships and medaling in all 4 of those last 4. The only country to do that. Has 3 straight bronze medals, a silver last year. Moiseva trying to keep that medal trend going for Russia in the women's side of curling.
She seems to be enjoying herself a lot this week. All smiles.
Well, obviously probably disappointed that she's not here playing, not at the Olympics playing. I saw her was doing some coverage for TV in Russia during the Olympics.
That's why I mean you're disappointed not to come, but you're brought as a 5th and just looked very positive.
Supportive, and it's tough because this is the team that beat you. But
yeah,
now you join forces and still trying to get a medal for yourself and the country. You just hit this, you try and make a roll, but you sort of just have to take your medicine and give up a deuce. Tough to make this roll and not still leave a shot for Jennifer Jones.
Well, a nose hit or a draw through the port there is probably just as easy. So might as well go hard for that roll. You roll too far, well, then you let Jennifer Jones play the draw for 2. Seeing how she just played the hit anyway. Just give it a chance. Seen Stones move here. Trying to go the other way. It's too far.
Just 3 straight half shots by the Russian side has opened up and allowed for this in-turn draw. 8-foot or better. Chance to get a deuce.
Just have to come a little bit inside the button draw path. Across the center a little bit. What do you think in the 3rd end? They should have a really good guess.
Oh, yeah.
The only stone they need to navigate past is that red corner guard on the left. Just taking edge of 8. Thinking just across the center line here into the 4-foot. Almost drawing around the yellow guards.
So final stone chance to get the deuce. Missed an opportunity in the first. This one just needs to get the 8-foot. The crowds had plenty to cheer about through their first 8 games. This the 9th game, and the crowd will take you home, let you know. And it is 2 for Canada. So the first team to crack a deuce is the Canadian side. They lead 3-1 in this pivotal matchup. Well, as we get set, we're in the fourth end of all of our games going on in session 15. Sheet A, Sweden trailing Japan still 1-0, 2 straight blank ends. Sweden with the hammer. Switzerland 1-1 with the Czech Republic. Switzerland has the hammer in the fourth. We're on sheet C, 3-1, Canada leading. And it is a 3-2 Denmark advantage over Scotland. Scotland has the hammer playing in the fourth end of that game. A lot of teams now jockeying for position, trying to get to the top 6 of the 13-team field. 1 and 2, though, get by straight to the semifinals. 3 through 6 will play in 2 quarterfinals. Canada win here, they move to 9-0, and they would move 3 games up on Russia, 2 games up on Korea record-wise, but they also hold the tiebreaker against Korea. So, in essence, 3 games up on them. And then it would be 1 more win and pretty much guarantee spot in that 1-2 game.
I definitely like this new playoff format. It's good mix between the page playoff system and the straight Olympic semi-final format. Whereas if you go 1-2, the better teams coming into the playoffs, you get a big advantage by getting a bye to the semi-final. But at the same time, no teams get a second chance. You're still getting the excitement of the straight knockout games, and we're getting a few more of them with the quarterfinals. So you know, that's going to be 4 really good games, and of course then the medal games after.
Yeah, and you really see when watching those semifinals the difference of the pressure. Every shot in those sudden death playoff games, especially at the Olympics, where it's been building for 4 years. Here, the World Championship every year, but there's no guarantee you're going to get back the next year. You want to try and medal. Does give an advantage to those top 2 teams, which the top teams like, because it gives you 1 less game you have to win in the playoffs.
At the same time, you might see a team build some momentum winning the quarterfinal. One, the team that has a bye to the semi-final, they're not playing, they're resting, maybe having a practice. It's always tough to see what's the big advantage, but of course the teams are through to the semi will have a choice of hammer, and that's always a good thing to have. Just at this level, having last stone in the first end could be the edge.
Julia Guzieva trying to play the freeze on that stone, top of the button.
Played a really nice one on the third end. This one will just come up a little bit heavy and bounce off enough that Canada might look to remove it from play.
Like back line. Hit just through in a curl here.
If it sits half checked, Canada probably just comes up on top. But I'll just try and cross the face a little bit here. Punch the red through, roll in, set 2 behind cover.
86% on the event for Jill Officer. It's all about the weight. Throw the right weights, you can make this shot. Well, Caitlin Laws, Don McEwen on the brush. Get by. Wow. Make the hit. There's the roll.
That is some great brushing.
Look at them go. Dawn just briefly lifting her head through that sweep. Just a couple peaks. But pretty much head down, know they got to go to try and sneak it by.
Big weight from Arsenkina to run this back. 1, 2, 3.
Look at that right back as all of them spill out. Raised double. Galina Arsenkina looked like a rocket out of the hack.
Well, there's a reason why she's the top-ranked second player so far in the competition. And shots like that.
And look at that, spins those yellows out with ease. shots fired there as Jill makes the quiet hit and roll.
Mike, a little tight.
Galina comes back.
You're
Now let's
okay
make the
by
raise
guard.
double.
I think it's going to come out the other side, though. Full 8, top 4. Full 8. No, you got to go get by the guard. You're late, eh? You got to go. You got to go. You got to go. Go, 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 go.
You see that sometimes when you get a good setup, then your opponent plays a great shot and just kind of stuns you a little bit, and then you get a missed shot after. Just how quickly the momentum can change.
Back and forth, back and forth. So advantage now for Russia. So there's the numbers we were talking about for Arsenkina.
Gets buried, just coming a little bit too deep. If Russia puts a freeze on top of this red now, there's very little room to get in for a second point. Would have preferably we wanted that in maybe just the top of the 8 foot, really.
Well, they want to freeze this one, taking the sweepers right out.
Back 4, back 8.
Back 8. Back 8. Okay.
Wow, line great, just 5-6 feet, too much weight. Russia trying to get their 2 back after giving up the deuce in the last end. Well, they want to sit on top, what Canada was trying to play. Right down, doesn't get fully tucked, but
They're just tad heavy. Throw that a couple of feet shorter, you get a little more finish. You have a little more room to do something with the sweeping, but clearly enough for Jennifer Jones to call the run back from Caitlin Laws.
now we've seen one run double already. See if we get another one.
Yeah, 5 stones ago, it was 2 yellows and behind the center guard. Now it's 2 red.
Curl, baby, curl, curl, curl.
Well, make contact with him. Oof. Just misses that one. Still, Russia line 2. Was looking good for Canada, as you said, Sander. Line 2, sitting behind a guard. One shot really swung this end.
Very often you throw a center guard when you have last on advantage, but those reds are pretty well lined up for a gimme double. It's tough to move them around without leaving a double either, so center guard is the call. Sweeping to try and hold the line here. Clearly just a little bit tight. Coming out, Portunova, Moiseva calling on the sweepers to try and just hold it out there as long as possible. This one just over curling.
Is there enough covered? I don't know if there's. You can only get one if you're going to make the play in the house.
You can make a play on the reds here. Try and remove the back one, sit on top of the top red. Might be. I was going to say there might be enough space for the double, but I don't think so. No. Always looks a little easier from above.
Yeah. It's a closer look to what the players see from the hack, or from the opposite end of the ice.
I've started to learn that now, so
know which cameras give you which looks.
Yeah. So probably try and just hit the red, remove the back one, try and sit frozen on top of the redstone remaining.
Well, Jennifer Jones had a couple misses yesterday, but it's good enough. Made them when they count. They needed to be.
Pretty similar to the shot Moiseva had on her last stone in the first end.
Oh, gets by.
Hard, Caitlin, hard, Caitlin.
Look, it spins it right out in front. That's very nice. They just get by the front. Definitely seeing that swing.
Hard, Caitlin, hard, Caitlin.
Very nice. Keeps the shooter right in front of that red. Huge nuisance for Russia. Pretty much impossible to remove without taking out your own red or rolling the shooter out.
Almost.
Calling the front end down to have a chat.
Уходит, мы открываем просто все. Да, мы накапливаем их и все. Давайте попробуем. Нравится просто. Да? Просто если мы вот так подвозим, это ей легко. Да, это да. А ей все равно, так же она вперед.
Я смотрю просто, что будет. Нам как лучше довалить
нам лучше
или не
повыше
довалить?
просто вот так поставить. Вот здесь, елкой. Вот так идеально. Да. Давай вот так поставим, чтобы точно не перевалить. Хотя это так не работает, да? Ой, сори. 15.
Well, the team decision. How do we go about it?
See where the angle is. Like, I don't see what she's going to have off this. Unless she corner freezes right at, yeah. Guard.
Seems like Moiseva will be just throwing this tight guard top 12. There's a good chance Kana will just throw a guard back on. Make it really hard for Russia to score their two. The other option would have been to maybe try and cross the center line here and get in and sit two. Proving hard to get the guard in the right spot.
She's got this.
Will it curl hard enough?
Draw.
Through the port on the outturn?
The intern or the outturn?
No, they can throw enough weight to move it.
Yeah. This is definitely there.
It's definitely there.
Let's see, this intern's going to come off that guard. I think that intern's pretty hard.
Okay.
Hers won't curl as much, but.
If the thing to draw is there for
Which
two,
one do you like guarding?
You could just come down and tap the yellow a stone, shrink the scoring area even further. It's a slight risk though.
It's definitely there.
Could leave a double if you come a little high side.
I'll try to tap it.
Yeah, we could freeze tap, make her draw harder. Or we just try and go there and make the split harder. Yeah, I wondered about the draw tap, just to.
Yeah,
so
it's just
that
that I'm not like, it's hard to throw this aggressive because if I ever do this, it's really bad. So
I think that's a hard draw for her.
Yeah, but do you think this intern's there off that guard?
Well, I think that's easier for her than making this draw.
That's
For her?
I'm just thinking that she's just got that angle run. That's the only thing. So I thought if we drew.
Oh, I don't care about that, Jill. Have at her. Just guard this one, hey, and I take away both.
And I think why she says the angle run, that redstone you see top right of your screen on the Ford logo, it could pick their own out for Russia. So the risk in that is it could give up a steal of two if you ever played that.
It looks really tough to stick that on the yellow and keep it for two.
And the risk that you pick it out, you be so close to making it, you could actually pick your own out and give steal a two.
I don't really see Russia playing that one.
Looks like they're going to be forced to play that out-turn draw, the counterclockwise rotation. Jennifer Jones and Team Canada wants to take away the other side.
Yeah, just throwing the guard. Trying to make the simple shot themselves, leaving the hard one for Russia. We talked about maybe playing the tap to take away the scoring out even further, but there's a little bit more risk involved. This still leaves a very tough shot to get in there for 2. Out-turn draw is probably there. But you're having to come a little bit outside the draw path. It's going to be a little bit of a guess for weight. Probably for curl as well.
Well, always tough as a spectator, chewing your nails. Even at a young age, they're starting to chewing their nails. Most of these players will say, including Jennifer Jones, who was watching her husband at the Olympics, it's much more difficult to watch than play because it's out of your control. Harder on your body just sitting and watching.
I'll tell you what, this would be one incredible draw. She gets there.
Full 4-foot. Guzeva, Arsenkina. Got to get by and you'll be close. Get by the front. Oh, and they just touched that top one. Will it still curl at the end? Wow, were they ever close to that? Weight was real good. It would have curled right in there. It almost did even with touching the guard. So Canada gets their force. They'll have the hammer back and a 1-point lead up 3-2. I'll keep you up to date. All the other scores. 1-1. Sweden gets a single, so 1-1 in the 5th. Sheet A. 2-1. Switzerland leading the Czech Republic in the 5th end. Czech Republic with the hammer. Our game sheet C. 3-2 Canada edge. Well, 3-3 Denmark and Scotland as they are in their 5th end. We are just about set to begin end number 5. Ford World Women's Curling Championship. So Russia will get us started. Just 2 singles for Russia in this one. They had a chance at that split in the 2nd end. Weren't able to make it. So Julia Guzeva.
Well, had 2 really tough shots for Moiseva in this game and been very close to making both. The split had to curl just an inch more, and that draw just had to curl an inch less, and it's there.
Well, they start with the centerline guard, trying to, again, we've seen a lot of play around the center, haven't seen a lot go to the wings. Canada happy though, they have a 1-point lead and gotten their forces, and have had a shot for 2 both times with the hammer. Getting it in that third end. We'll try to do so again in the 5th.
You'd love to just blank here, keep that 1-point lead in hammer, or obviously score a 2. Feel like they have control coming into halftime.
Well, Russia, a big day for them. They know they have Canada now, then they have Sweden this evening on a split day. You'd like to try and at least split those 2 games and be in a good position for the playoffs. Win 2, you may give yourself a chance to get into that straight bye to the semifinals. Canada with a win in this, they'll be ever so close to getting one of those 2 spots into the semis. Win here, and then they basically just need to win one of their last 3. They'll finish up against Italy tonight, Japan, and USA tomorrow.
That's a tough run up for Russia.
Get off.
Sweden.
Get off.
Tonight, like you said, and Korea tomorrow.
Good.
Denmark in the last one.
Yeah, doesn't get any easier for them, but they know they control their own. They win their games, they win out. Going to be in the pretty much into the semifinals. Of course, the 12-game schedule of the 13 teams in the round robin. Haven't completely ruled out 6 losses as a possibility to make it in, but looking like 7-5 sort of the lowest you want to get to. It's actually nice that it just chipped that red a little bit, and they sit still a little good angle out in front. Jones got the slippery broom this morning.
That's a good tradition in fun spills, at least in Europe. You drop your broom, then everyone does. And you can just hear the brooms falling all across
click,
the
click,
arena.
click, click.
Yeah. Gets a little annoying after, you know, the first 20 times, though. Especially if you're sweeping a draw for the win.
Yeah, probably will not see that here at the World Championship, but those are fun events, and you see a lot of these teams will actually take part in those as well.
Yeah, there's some celebrity spiels. Or some amateurs get a chance to play with a few world champions now and again.
Yeah, a chance to raise some money for charity as well for a lot of those. And I know the U.S. men's gold medal team's got one coming up, and always a highly successful event. Now they have a gold medal. It probably won't hurt to help raise more money.
Yeah.
So the center line guard back out in front. Canada Peelan knows that they want to try and open up the scoring zone. They have one top of the 4-foot, the shot stone.
Clean. You're good. You got it.
Canada knows because they're laying shot, it's Russia that's going to have to make a move, so
4.5.
they'll just keep yelling those guards until they do. And then when finally Russia makes the move, then Canada will try and blast it open. And that's why Russia don't want to come in and make that move too early, leave Canada too many chances of tidying things up. So throw a couple more guards and make the move a bit later on.
I think we try to run this. This way, yeah.
Comes a little tighter to the rings now, so actually Canada to make the first move on the stones in the house. Try and run this back, clip the yellow, and get one of those red stones out.
Well, they're hoping to roll the shooter off, try to spill that red over the top. It leaves it frozen on top of that, and now the angle's now advantage for Russia in the house.
Thinking first to just freeze the red there, seeing how there's only 3 stones left for Russia. Moiseva just recognizing that they're going to have to move that yellow stone top 4 at some point. If they could ever just try and sit frozen and leave the red stones angled towards the yellow stone they're tapping back, it'd be really good. Set up a jam, but this one's curling early. Oh, did that touch the guard? Or am I seeing things?
If it didn't, it was real tight.
Pretty good result, though. Actually ends up removing that yellow stone completely.
They want to get to the nose now. Right back. It's important to try and hold the shooter there.
You're solid, you definitely can. Get off, Joe.
Like a solid hack. It's just hack, actually.
A little off on the angle. Was the double there using the red?
Double's definitely there. You might squeeze your own red stone in the top 8 out, though. Not sure if they'll play for the double necessarily. If you play less weight, you actually maybe try and squeeze that red stone just into the forefoot and tap that yellow stone behind the guard out in the open.
You have to catch that real thin. You might actually go right through if you throw weight at it.
Just trying to figure out what weight and how much to hit. Catch the outside yellow pretty thin. Roll across red onto yellow, punch that yellow to the left, at least far enough to maybe lie 3. You might squeeze that red stone down towards the forefoot and maybe even roll the shooter a little bit up. Sounds very easy.
Right as you drew it up.
Let's see if it comes off for Moiseva.
It's one thing to know the angles, and then it's a matter of throwing it and trying to hit those perfect angles.
So you can see throwing just a firm weight, nothing too crazy. Make sure to catch the right spot here, just a little too thick.
A little too thick, and can you make the double and sit in front?
Actually felt like maybe threw that too late, if anything. Needed a little more running on it, I think, to make the shot perfect.
7-8, I think we throw
Get that yellow out and
push your red back.
Yeah. Obviously caught it too thick, so not a lot of momentum left on it.
I need more ice.
So far, Moiseva has been just very, very close to making shots, but just not quite there. Just the inch off, time and time again.
Well, and leaving openings for Canada because of that. There's another one.
Sorry, guys. Spin.
Spins that Russian counter in for shot stone.
Not awful.
Might see Moiseva just come around everything.
Yeah,
Sorry
it's different
about
if it doesn't, if it stays in the 12 foot a
solid.
little bit.
Nine.
Anyway, I had a minute 22 on it,
Okay.
so
I was closer to 9, and I used you all.
Нравится завести вот
Да.
здесь. Оля,
Sure.
хорошо.
Shoot. I might have a slash.
So draw in, try and go top of the 4 foot with this one.
Yeah, pretty much. Just sink it in there. Gotta make sure to be buried. If you undercurl this a lot, could potentially be a double. Also, if you crash on your end. Looking pretty good here. Just want to tuck it all more.
Oh, great line. Went a little bit just to make sure they overcurled it a hair.
Probably leaves the draw for Jones to come after it. Wanting to sweep that for the extra curl. At the same time, had enough weight, so couldn't really go on it. But you can see it's fully buried. But some of the stone is actually just past the tee line, so Jones really just needing to move it 2 inches here for the shot and the single point.
Speed's really good here. Hey?
Nice thing they've just saw a stone right down this path.
Just thrown a couple down here. It's where she drew for 2. It's where she tried to draw for 2 in the first end, although it was a bit wider.
Line's good. Room.
But still should know the weight here
Let it work.
and the swing.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Well, facing a couple, got to get past the front. By the front, now they've got to keep going. Spin off the other one, and it actually touches the top red, spins away, and a steal and a 2-point swing there instead of a 2-point lead. It's all square now with the first steal for Russia to tie this game up 3 apiece, heading to the 5th end break. Well, first end, and Jennifer Jones' decision, play the double, try and go for 4 or draw for the second point. Here, in turn draw to the 4 foot to try and get that second point. But Jennifer Jones, heavy, slides right by, doesn't get the little rub. And it is only 1 for the Canadian side. After a miss by Team Canada, opportunity for the deuce. You go after it with the split. Don't always get these opportunities, and Moiseva touches it, but not far enough. It doesn't go in, the shooter does, and it is a single point for Russia. After a rollout, an end where Canada didn't really have the 2 set up until Skip Stone, some rollouts by the Russian side, left the open draw for the deuce for Team Canada. The first multiple score of the game. Well, a difficult, wide out-turn draw as Russia lies one in this fourth end. Victoria Moiseva, 2016 European champ, just touches the front, unable to have it curl in enough and catch the forefoot. So close, but only one for Russia. But they put the pressure on, get in there with Moiseva's last to the button. Jennifer Jones now to navigate that port, has to get through, touches that red stone, and that means the first steal of the game, and it goes to the Russian side. So it's all square, 3-3 after 5 ends of play.
I just thought you guys to sweep it right out of my hand and move it out there.
Five minutes to get to 3 ice. That will play.
Well, the other scores here in session 15, Japan leading a low-scoring one, 2-1 in the 6th end. 4-2, Czech Republic is doubling up Switzerland right now in 6. 3-3, our feature game in the 6th end. And Denmark, a 5-3 advantage against Scotland over on sheet D. Scotland has the hammer. They'll look to try and score 2 and tie that game up. And look at the numbers through 5 ends. 3-3 the score. Canada overall percentage 91-88. Draw percentage advantage Russia 88-81. And hit percentage Canada at 99% to 88. So we start end number 6. Julia Guzeva. We'll go right into the top of the house. We'll see if we get a little play into the corner guard position now. That one slides in. Well, important placement of these guards. That one, we're seeing ideal spot is right on the Ford logo. That one out to the 12 foot, a little wider. You probably want that on the inside of those Ford logos.
Yeah, two things. Having a wide corner is, will be a pretty long roll from the Stones center line, where Russia will probably try and throw them, but also it'll be tough to get shot stone around it if your opponent's stone is just anywhere in the 8 foot at some point. Coming around, it's not going to give you a shot stone, so just bring it a little closer.
That one stops just shy of the rings, so can't be removed. That one probably edge on edge in the house. Don McEwen can make a play on it. 98%. Those are more like the numbers we see out of Don McEwen. She's playing in her 5th World Championship. That was Dawn's first takeout of the game, and she's on the mark, right to the nose.
Technically not a takeout, though.
True. A little tap back.
But they won't mind leaving that redstone in the back 12 too much. Probably go pretty hard for a 2 here in the 6th end.
Galina Arsenkina, 88%. Tough to keep up with her numbers. She's been playing all week at 90%. So if you don't do that, they're going to drop a little bit.
Don't want to jam it in the back. Ooh.
There is the takeout. They get rid of that stone. Get away with that one. Very tight to that jam in the back.
And the roll towards the corner guard really long. So we'll try and roll underneath the center guard. Make Russia make the run back, maybe open it up for Canada. Let Russia do the job themselves, and then maybe open up a free draw around that corner. Gets the double here instead of the roll. That's not a bad result. Keeps the blank alive.
Well, in the 5th end break, it was Canada just saying, well, it's a 5-end game now. We have 3 hammers to their 2.
Now that this stone is top 12, it's so high in the house, it's a little easier to make a good roll in behind cover and sit top of the tee line. So this time they will try the long roll. Also rolling behind the center guard now is not worth very much. Be just a foot between them and be a very easy run back for Russia. But again, it's not curling enough.
Weight was good. It was
just
a 9-8.
sit there. A battle of the rolls. See this so often. I think along with draws, the hit and rolls, maybe the most important shot in curling. If you make all your hit and rolls, you're winning a few games, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one, Sanders. You see Porchanova at 98%. Thought it'd be an interesting position between Caitlin Laws and Porchanova, the youngest member of each team, playing at that 3rd spot. And Porchanova at 79% overall coming into the game. 6% lower than that of Caitlin Laws, but it's an advantage for the Russian side and Porchanova right now. Although 93 is not bad for Caitlin Laws, just when your opponent's playing 98. Well, make the double roll up, lead 2 corners.
It's a pretty good result. Good thing about 2 corners here, obviously, is if Russia peels one, you can come around the other, and you set up for your 2.
Is that why they're putting the center guard?
Yeah, pretty much. And you don't want to come around the corner guard either. It's pretty tricky. Even if you make a perfect draw around the corner, Canada can always follow corner freeze and get shot stone, which is harder to do around the center guard, where you usually have to move the stone. Also, you come deep, makes it really easy for Canada. So this is just trying to force the play along the center line.
Нет, нет, ничего. 16-0, хорошо. Молодец, молодец.
See if Canada just ignores it and comes around one of the corners. Could have done that. But looking to come around the center though.
Okay, Caitlin. Good.
Don't really see. You know, he could have come around the corner here and say, well, if you want to come around the center, ignore our stone, you're going to have to make it perfect, or we sit hit and lie too. You draw deep, we freeze, just like now, and be tougher. You draw short, you play the run back. It's worth to consider.
And I think the other way they're thinking is we draw behind, they make one real good. We may not get to use that one. But Russia put the center guard up, got Canada around it, came out the other side a little bit deep, and now a good freeze.
I think Russia's probably pretty happy with that. You know,
Yeah.
they would be expecting that to happen. But they were hoping, obviously, for this to slide all deep. It's not back of the tee line, but it is on the tee line, which means a freeze for Moiseva doesn't leave much room to get in for two.
Well, you could sit on the corner, actually, just shot stone. 73% on the game from Moiseva.
Yeah, again, just been very close to making all her shots, just an inch off a few times, but this one seems to be a little bit farther off. It's not a good attempt, really.
No, that's a troubling miss coming up short. Now Canada can use those double guards.
Only saving grace is they haven't staggered the guards, so should be possible to run that stone back, just thrown by Moiseva.
But it's, I mean, we need to get it by.
Yeah. Hey, Jen, let's
We
make
can't
this.
be behind the button.
You surprised they're not playing the out turn?
Out of the 4 foot.
Yeah, there's more room.
I think the speed
That's
should be
for sure.
good here.
I
Hey,
guess
I'm out
so.
wider, but I still think
I agree.
I had a 15.7 on hers. What'd you guys get?
Yeah, 15-9.
Because maybe just having played a few more draws in this spot, also maybe the run back on that tight center guard thrown by Moiseva, if anything, is running a little high, so come the other way
Hot right now.
No.
might leave a better chance for the run double.
Jennifer Jones at 80% par for tournament average.
You go in, Don. It's coming off a bit.
Higher the better. You can wait as long as the better. You can wait as long as you want.
We can
It's
wait.
4 foot.
It's T-line almost.
Sit.
Stop,
Sit.
stop, stop, stop,
Sit.
stop, 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 stop. Could have went deep.
Well, it's that in-between land where you draw to try and
Taking it back.
let it go
Yeah.
Should've taken
where
it
they
back.
did, or you take it further back to try and lie two. They decide to try and let it curl and die, and leaves a pocket available.
Yeah, a few different spots to put this. There's a bit of room for error. Either you just inside freeze the one thrown by Jones, but probably ideally you come just to the top of the buttons, just sit like quarter frozen on the shot stone. Definitely want to be at least second shot here, though. If you leave Canada sitting two, you might just see them throw it away and be happy with their 2 points.
Well, Moiseva short with her first.
Just needing to curl. Just needs to get to the inside of that stone by Jones. Maybe try and tap it up. No, it's not going to get there.
Now is the question, can you play that out turn to get to the button?
Have anything, but you never know.
I think you can get to the inside here.
Yeah.
In turn looks
Curls,
there,
yeah.
but it was
Try,
running a
we'll
bit
give it
straight.
go.
Yeah,
You gotta be pretty tight.
It's a little bit more weight than Jones.
I like it.
Do I need the same on this side or less? I feel like it's a hair heavier on this side, but
Yeah, I think you could throw the same.
yeah.
Well, Canada hasn't given up many steals. They gave up one in the last. They've been
We're
efficient
line
with the
two,
hammer.
So I don't know if this is. I don't think this is there, but you never know. We'll give her a go. We just can't touch her. Like we can't nose tap ours.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try it. I think I need less. I was gonna throw the same, but I can't tap ours.
Yeah,
so
I don't mind a little less.
Yeah, hair less.
I want to make sure of our 2. So.
Well, 6th end, even a score is important. 3 hammers to 2. You can come out and score a deuce early.
Yeah, 2 is really good. Could maybe throw the in turn, maybe a touch easier.
Line's good.
But ever throw a little heavy, tap the red. You only get your 1, so you don't want to even go there. Jones didn't seem to think the out turn draw was there, but we'll give it a go.
No, Don, no.
Oh, it really got to curl. They got to just wait. Did they wait too long? Can they drag it far enough?
Wow.
Get 3, and look at that, right to it.
Didn't think it was there, but made it look easy.
Beautiful draw. Great job by Officer and McEwen to judge that one, not oversweep it, to take it to that spot. Not just the 2, a 3 for Canada, as they now double their score and lead 6-3. We'll look at the other scores. Sweden gets a big 3 in the 6th end as well. So they lead Japan 4-2 in the 7th end. Czech Republic 4-3 lead with the hammer in the 7th end of that game. 6-3 our feature game on sheet C. And Denmark a 1-point lead over Scotland over on sheet D. We start the 7th end now. Luke Coley, Sandra Rovag, and our feature game, Canada and Russia, Ford World Women's Curling Championship. We're in beautiful North Bay, Ontario, Canada, hosting for the first time a World Championship.
It's a good debut. I think they've done well.
The crowds have been outstanding and very respectful, not just to the Canadian side, but everyone. The way the setup is out there, the teams, after they finish the home end, have to walk the length of the ice, and doesn't matter who they are, they get the applause. The players have been loving it. Good crowds, cheering lots of shots. Makes a big difference. A lot of these teams haven't played in front of big crowds, and you're not getting one that's maybe a little different from other ones where they're cheering against you or that. And even Russia, when they've made shots in this game, there's been applause and good shots. So 6-3. Crowd got to get excited over that 3 for Canada, and that was a fabulous draw. It was just well-managed stone to put that right on the top of the button, knowing that they couldn't be heavy.
That was Jones didn't think it was there, but when the shot was made, made it look easy somehow. Had some room on the guard.
was one they had to wait for it to make its move. They couldn't go early, and then they were able to have enough momentum on it and keep that stone moving.
Yeah, you seemed like you were getting a bit more swing coming on the out turn there. Not as much on the in turn. Saying it was a touch slower too, so it was a good guess for Wheat.
Go, 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 go. Good.
Well, those first two in, that corner guard in a pretty good spot for Russia to use. We see how they respond to this young Russian team, first world championship. They can come back, try and get a deuce of their own, get within one. You don't have to get it all back. You don't have to hit the 3-run home run. A deuce here is good.
You're likely, you might tap that up, which is fine.
Well, the roll not made. It does sit shot stone.
How much? About a third, I think. It's pretty thin.
Good thing I asked.
Yeah, about a third. Third.
Joe was, I think, almost ready to pull the stone back and start a delivery, and Jen goes, "Well, let's rethink this. Maybe we'll play the double."
Just asking how much she needs to hit. Jones didn't seem too sure.
Yep.
Just saying a good thing she asked.
Yep.
It's always nice for the player to know how much to hit. You know, not just throw it at a broom.
Hard. Good. I thought you threw it okay.
You're supposed to hit the broom and throw the exact weight, but you know, if you don't come necessarily out with the best slide, just knowing how to adjust and what to hit, just kind of instinctual. But this one catches too big of a piece, but rolls far enough for there not to be a corner guard anymore.
Нет, пока полегче. Нет. 6. Нет. Будет 6. Не, хорошо. Подумай, может на тебе уже подвести сзади.
Well, putting the guard in a different spot.
Отсюда. Ну, отсюда.
Going to the other side.
Try it again.
I was going to say it doesn't leave the slash anymore. But Canada thinking they could make it via the yellow.
Can you? I don't think you can jam it to leave him lying too.
No, that's. So I like this call. Many teams don't even think about it. They don't really consider it. The only thing you really need to look at is it possible to jam it and leave your opponent sitting two? If it's not, you might as well have a crack.
No. Oh no, Joey. We're
Oh.
close. It's going to be really bad.
Oh.
Get out. That works.
Didn't see that as a. They got away with that one. They're worried that they were going to leave him lying to.
So, as close to making it for Russia, but still worth a go. I mean, it's not a bad result, but does leave Russia sitting one on the wing. They can throw a corner, hoping or expecting Canada to peel it, and then you'll probably see Russia draw to the other wing, get maximum separation, make sure there's no double.
What point do you do that? Do you do it on your thirds first or your thirds last?
I think maybe the thirds last. It's tough to keep that going if you come into the house to keep that going for so many stones, for not Canada to make a nice roll and leave an angle for double and not make it when you have Caitlin Laws and Jennifer Jones playing back end. If they get a chance, you kind of feel that they're going to make it if they get the chance. So just limit the opportunities as much as possible, but at the same time throwing guards, not always that easy. You got to make sure to make them perfect.
Well, do they get it out in the back?
Didn't see that one.
Try to put it down. That's what he's doing.
Almost jams there.
Did catch it. That's what their worry was in the back. Saw the hand up from Jones, so saying that they did get it out.
Would have been a bit of a disaster. A little shy for Wheat, maybe. Sweepers having to go. Don't want to kill the line, so switching it up now. This one. Where do they get it?
I think it might be, you can see it from that back, as you see a couple of the children of the Canadian front end. Cameron, Jill's daughter, and husband Devlin. Younger one in the front, that's Vienna McEwen, Don McEwen's daughter. Seeing herself on the big screen, excited about that.
They will come after the stone in the house, just realizing that keep peeling that corner guard. They know what's coming. So to have a chance to get the stone out, they will.
You gotta go on the red. Go.
Really need to remove it from play, though. They don't, so
don't catch enough of it, so error there. On Don's husband Mike playing daddy duty this week, as see Brent Lang as well, a couple of players on the men's side joining new teams as well next year.
Kind of get the feeling those kids might be a good curler someday.
Might be a pretty good team as well. Of course, Jennifer Jones and Brent Lang with 2 daughters. I think they got a team right there.
Speaking of Anna Sidorova sweeping yesterday, we'll see Mike McEwen do the same.
Be joining another Canadian team, Reed Carruthers, fellow Manitoban. That one comes back. Did it set up a double?
I threw this out to her, remember? Yep.
Missed opportunity.
Got it.
No, 9.5. Just on the nose. I threw this hit. Okay.
So not going for the double.
I think we'll just nose. They're pretty even, so.
Hoping for an exchange of noses, and then they can make the double?
Pretty much. Get a nose hit, but it will leave Russia a chance to try and hit and roll to the other wing and leave a flat double. But they're hoping for a half shot and then a chance.
Right on the beak. Russia trying to finish off what they've been working on, trying to get there too.
They're just trying to hit that yellow and roll as far as they can, but still outcount the yellow on the left wing. Probably even roll frozen on that red. Might not be playing too much weight here though.
We want to let her sweepers manage this one. Guzeva, Arsenkina. Right out of the hand. Trying to hold it to save the shooter. Rolls right over towards their other one, closer to it. Had to be on the other side.
Well, I think it's pretty buried.
back as well. They have a little more spin, but I still think.
So, yes, it's not perfect. Jennifer Jones can certainly take the 2 away here, but it's the only way that we're actually bringing the 3 into play, if anything. A mistake from Jones. You have a chance.
Get it back there.
But Canada will know they can play this a little heavy and tap the Reds and sit on top. Much better than leaving it a couple of feet short. At the same time, line's pretty important here. Don't want to over curl. But by rolling him behind the corner, it's a little more pressure on Jennifer Jones. Knowing a missed shot here could lead to 3 points in a tied game. She's probably getting pretty ready to play just an open hit or a double, and now having to play an entirely different shot. And look at this. This is coming up really heavy, and that's going to go all the way through.
Won't touch anything. Wow, that should be real close on that. That makes a great draw in the last, and then that one right through. Now hands 3 right back.
That's a lucky break from Moiseva, rolling underneath that corner.
Sorry.
You know, and Jennifer Jones mentally preparing to play the hit probably.
I didn't move at all.
No.
Then having to play the draw, knowing she probably wanted to be heavy rather than short, but you know, there's a limit.
Well, full 12-foot. And a tie game again. Victoria Moiseva. Well, we thought 2s would be hard to score in this game, and see back-to-back 3s. If you can get this one full 12-foot. Guzeva Arsenkina like this one, just guiding it in. So Russia answers back with 3 of their own, so we're all square 6-6. As we have now made it a 3-end game after 7 ends.
Just taking a look at the other scores in the North Bay Memorial Gardens. It's Sweden up 4-3 over Japan. Czech Republic with a 5-3 lead. It's tied in our game, and it's also tied between Denmark and Scotland at 5 points each.
Well, both these teams have been pretty stingy without the hammer, not giving up big ends. But that changed the last 2 ends, so now Canada with the hammer. We played the 8th end. They have 2 hammers to Russia's 1.
Canada's only given up 4 scores of 2 and 2 scores of 3. Nothing more so far.
That was their 3rd 3 that they gave up.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, just in behind, but just top 12 foot, so there's room to go right around or put up another center, because that one's just in the top of the 12 foot. Might see another center line guard here for Russia. See the numbers, both leads having just an outstanding game. 96% on her draws, 100 on her hits. Julia Guzeva.
Well, that's just going to be more and more important now in the last few ends.
Well, they are going to be coming in.
I may be feeling like they almost got a second guard with that top 12 draw.
That's fabulous.
It's pretty good. A very good addition to the Moiseeva team. I believe first season for her. At least haven't played any other bigger championships.
Played the Europeans with her
in 2016.
Yeah, in the Olympics. So
I stand corrected. Gold medal, of course.
Yeah, that's this team's big international event. Hasn't played the Asian teams or the Americans, North American teams in that. Obviously the Europeans, but did that at the Olympics. Struggled a bit, and they finished 9th of 10 teams. Looks like a completely different team, though, playing here in North Bay.
So many factors, though. To be the added pressure of the Olympics, just having a bad week, having a good week here, you know.
There's lots of things going on. Obviously, they had they weren't wearing Russia. They were the Olympic athlete from Russia. That is a factor too. That changes it. There's so many other factors. They come off. Lots of media, lots of discussion around the curling side and their team, and they know they got 3 straight big games. Canada here, Sweden tonight, Korea tomorrow. But sitting in a good spot for the playoffs right now. Right on the nose to lie 2. So we see Queen of England, of course, Canada part of the Commonwealth here. It sits above the sheet of ice. Very similar to the old Winnipeg Arena that used to have it as well, the hometown of this Jennifer Jones team out of Winnipeg. The old arena used to be known for having the big portrait of the Queen of England high above. Some of the unique things here at the North Bay Memorial Gardens, the foxhole, or the in-house. It's the little booth where the in-house DJ and video board is controlled out of.
For the hockey games?
Yeah, for the hockey. Normally the North Bay Battalion playing out of this building. Been here since 2003, 2004. Now the hit and roll back. Just goes a hair too far. Just some of the unique features of every different building that you come into. The nuances. Obviously a little different here too. The crowd files in from the playing level and goes up to their seats. A lot of buildings you'll go on the concourse and go down to your seats. There's a lot more foot traffic right around the boards here.
Good point. And there's also some seats right up against the boards there as well.
Yes, and accessible seating. So try the run back, try and clip that one, just rolls over the top. But still, Russia line 2. It's an important end, 8th end. Love to try and score if you're Canada. %, both draws and hits for Julia Porchinova. It's an easy one to confirm that it's 96% overall.
Pretty good line there.
Canada have to try and double peel, try and rip it open.
Comes, if anything, a little too close to the house, just because you know Caitlin Laws is coming up. 89% on the hits. Can definitely run a couple of reds off here.
Roll it!
Well, try and get one of them. And they'll get them all moving. Look at that, thin off the top. That's pretty darn good. Better than they had expected.
Well, the movement on the reds are good, but look at this shooter where that ends up. Actually kind of rolls staggered now. And that's maybe the downside. Chance for Russia to come around. 2 staggered yellows. It'll be tough to run them back. There's enough distance to maybe get the double on the guards and run that tight yellow guard back. And first, Porchinova is going to have to come around. I heard Jennifer Jones say it might be a little slower on this side when she drew for the 3. It's a big sweep by the Russian front end.
Big sweep, but opens up the forefoot, and Canada can get in there now.
Yeah, running out of time to tidy up. Team Canada 3 stones to go. They would really like to score their 2 here, so they're going to have to create some offense. Really important to come top 4 here, not slip beyond that T line. Should be a little quicker than the spot, and we'll see if they actually get the finish. They struggled with that a couple of ends ago down here.
That's the curl a mile. Hard, John. You got it. You got it. You got it. Even fully. Go. Get it by this one. Go.
Well, that one was 15 seconds hog to hog. Was trying to curl in there. They have a couple more feet. That's a real good looking shot.
Timeout called. Probably 3 options here. Either try and hit the yellow one on nose, play the draw, either turn.
What if you ever made that out turn draw and just to the top of the button, top of the forefoot, pardon me. It's a real steep angle then play.
because they closed the village in Kenya.
Очень мало. Прям надо, блин, мало. С этой стороны не хочешь?
Ну, вот вариант, но если мы его задеваем. Не довозишь сюда роллку. Сторона такая очень. Здесь хотя бы знаем.
Ты сюда привезешь, а не вот так. Хотя если ты второй привезешь.
Ну, мы второй подвезем. Просто здесь он очень в конце падает, и мы можем не пройти.
Либо не пройти, либо как-то с весом.
Давай,
Стой, да?
стой.
Давай туда.
Смотри, если бы стояла вот так, вот так.
Won't be the out turn. So like you were saying, Luke, maybe just top 4, try and leave it
Half
directly
open.
between the red shot stone and the yellow, because that way kind of makes a play on the yellow. It might jam on that red stone and just nibbling the forefoot. The other option I think they were discussing is coming on the end turn, but then maybe just coming half buried, so it would be hard to promote that yellow on to the stone to throw from Moiseva. Either way, Cannon's going to have to, will get some kind of play on that yellow stone. Just hand Porcinova throw here too.
Well, really working this, got to go on it to get it in the 8-foot. Well, they actually come up short of second shot. All that discussion, that changes it. Now, Jones can hit in line 2.
Brown, I have that tab.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. 10?
Misses on the last 2 and left the door right open.
You guys like this?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll away.
Or if I get the nose? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nose hit makes it tough to try and roll underneath.
You gotta stick for late, so.
See how cute they want to play this one. You really don't want to chisel off the stone just thrown by Moiseva.
Well, Jennifer, perfect on her hits, struggled a little with draw weight, putting her last in the previous end that allowed the 3.
Don't want to roll too far here either. Want to be out counting the reds.
Sorry, it might have been okay.
They do. That leaves a hit and roll back for Russia.
Well, and a short roll would be good, or even a big roll.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You don't want to, actually don't want to roll to the edge of the button here probably. Just make the run back go easier. But like you said, just roll
quiet and then tip them in, or?
just in behind your own red. Now Cannon's going to have to slash it. But either way, they roll buried. Can't see Russia, Canada scoring 2, just because the shooter wouldn't be out counting the reds. Oh, perfect here is maybe the long roll and just show a quarter of the stone on the other side.
Well, without the hammer, a tie game. Trying to get this one to curl. What? Anything inside. Nose hit. They probably disappointed with that throw. I don't think she was happy with the release right away.
Nothing left.
Took a while to. We had one multiple score in the first 5, and now looking for a third straight one.
Huge advantage Canada if they can score 2 here. Can even afford to give away a 2 in 9th to be tied coming home.
So the hit anywhere on the inside for Jennifer Jones.
Whoa, off, off. It's a little more.
Officer McEwen worked hard on a lot of stones already.
No.
Haven't laid a brush yet.
Anything if you can, anything.
And they won't. I don't think they do. I don't think it rolls in enough. It's one for sure.
That's what I mean.
One for sure.
Well, could be a missed opportunity or just enough.
Same weight.
Да поэтому ты, я говорю, нет, ты нельзя.
I didn't even look. Had to throw like a freaking one.
Well, it's very close.
Мне такой немножко, мне казалось,
Well, that angle from the side of the sheet looks yellow there, but
Oh, my hair would look like that if I braided it.
goes to just past the third one there. Very close.
I just didn't see the first one. Yeah, mine. Sorry. I was too far over your shoulder.
Well, it looks like it is that red that is just so a missed opportunity for an extra point again in this one. Could be the second time.
So past 3 1/4? It's past 3 1/4? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Not by much.
No. Very close, so it is just one for Canada. But they do score in the 8th end, a 7-6 lead over Russia after 8. Well, keeping you up to date with all the other scores, Sweden up by 3 after 8 now over Japan. Japan comes in at 4-4. Sweden is 8-1. Big game for Japan and Sweden for that matter. Sheet B, Switzerland at 3-5, leading Czech Republic 6-5 in the 9th, but Czech Republic have the hammer. 7-6 Canadian lead in our feature game. And on sheet D, Denmark and Scotland all square as they play in the 8th end, 5-5. Both those teams with 6 losses. They aren't eliminated mathematically, but will need lots of help and things to work out in their favor. Would definitely help if they see a Switzerland win and a Sweden win in this draw. That would bring 2 of the 4 lost teams down to 5 losses. Would leave the U.S. as the only 4-loss team. Would be sitting in 5th spot and be a tie for that final playoff spot, having 5 losses with 3 games remaining. So they'd have to drop, those 2 teams would have to drop 1 game to get into a tie, and then hopefully your head-to-head and draw shot challenge is better. A lot of different scenarios.
Clearly.
Did I confuse you, Sander?
Always.
Always. Centerline guard to start this 9th end. Canada will try and force Russia. Draw behind. Sometimes you see teams will draw out to the wing and see what their opponent will do. Actually, a little surprised not seeing them play to the wing.
This is a rare mistake.
Well, that one goes back 12 foot in the open.
I think we got to deal with this one.
There goes the Evans. Played really well so far. But it's in the house, so Canada might have to deal with it. We'll just come around. This is when you think, well, do you want to score 2, be 1 up, or blank, be 1 down hammer? The age-old question.
Line's tight.
Well, we got a whole end to talk about it.
Line's good.
If it comes true.
Holding.
How teams play.
Room.
I think the general consensus is most teams like to be 1 down hammer to be able to control the 10th end and have the last say. At the same time, statistically, I believe there's a slight edge to being 1 up. It's kind of a bit of a 50-50 either way.
Well, 2 schools of thought there of which way you want to go about it. Having that last stone control is in your favor. You play a good 10th end, you a good chance to try and score 2. Still have to get to that point. For that one by McEwen right to the top of the button.
Sometimes you play really hard for the blanket 9, though it's tough because your opponent doesn't want to let you do that. End up being forced. That's not great either. Don't think Canada would take too many risks now with a 1-point lead. If it was a tight game, it could be a different thing. Well, quite often we see games really open up in that 9th end. Both teams taking risks to get what they want. And you end up with a big steal or a big score. Certainly getting some stones in play here, though.
Yeah, easily could have called for the hit, but more stones in, beneficial to
Canada. Will probably think to play this pretty hard for the force, knowing that giving up 2 is okay, because then they'll be 1 down the last stone advantage, and they'll be quite comfortable with that as well. But getting the force would be a huge advantage, Canada. And that's a nice little tap freeze by Jill Officer.
Well, if you're Russia now, do you think about running it in, try and get rid of the guard, opening things up?
You do have Arsenkina throwing.
Probably run it and spill 1 out, and it would open up that center line. Risk is that you leave Canada lying 2.
They'll be making a play on the stones in the forfeit. Trying to remove 1 yellow, leave the shooter, then there'll be 3 reds in the house. That is pretty good there.
They get the 1 out, they sit theirs in front, have a good angle.
Certainly don't want to give up a 3 here. Jennifer Jones.
Stay there.
What if you ever threw a guard here?
Throw a guard with 3 opponent stones in the house. Feels risky. So early too. Just gonna throw a top 4 here, try and bump the stones a little bit, get some better angles.
Back 4, backing. Lots of line, get off. Backing, back clean. Back 4. Whoa, backing. Clean, yeah. Yeah. Hard. Okay, whoa, get low. Whoa. That's not bad. Okay.
Just moves it a little bit. I think he, if Russia can get low now.
Might as well hang out, Caitlin.
Yeah, trying to get to the inside of this red stone onto the yellow shot. Try and roll the shooter towards that top hill, maybe just punch it a few inches out in the open. Just throwing a kalotka.
Hackway.
Indeed.
Niet means no. Wow, they want to get a little low. Very nice. Just chips, rolls over. Now it's an even lonelier Yellowstone in there. The guard now
If you freeze here,
is a friend to Canada.
freezes. We can run. It's just that they've also got this kicker.
I know.
I guess right on the nose. We still guard ours.
Yeah.
Starting to feel like Canada's gotten themselves into a bit of trouble here. Some unnecessary trouble.
And they could have hit on Jill Officer's first hit and rolled. They decided just to freeze the pocket.
Could have even hit that stone in the back 12 at Don McEwen with their second stone.
Let's make it, Caitlin.
Now running the guard in, miss this and peel it off. It actually could be a saver for you later on, something to use and hide behind.
See, get it perfect, might get 3 reds going.
Well, they got probably the player they want to be throwing this one, the double gold medalist, 2014 with the in Sochi, 2018 mixed doubles. Get them all moving. Does get that back one, so that's actually may seem insignificant, but clipping that one. Now they have their stones out in front.
That's pretty good. Kind of groups everything in around that 4 foot. And like you said, leaves that guard in front. Nuisance for Russia. Usable for Canada. There is a double back to lie 3. They'd be hoping to make this double, maybe roll the shooter, spin it up in behind the guard or even to the wing just to get some separation. Can't leave all your eggs in one basket when you're playing Canada.
You want to separate them, a couple different baskets. It is almost Easter.
I know.
You're a week ahead of yourself, Sandra. Julia Porchinova not throwing big weight, so they don't want to spin too far with it.
There's less room for error throwing this weight, though. That was the problem, not killing the second yellow.
Now double and roll back for the Canadian side.
Catch-all thinner is probably okay for Russia, but just felt like maybe throw a bit more weight, make sure you get the double. Then again, catch it in the same spot with more weight, you might roll the shooter out. So maybe the thinking there, just to make sure you leave the thrown rock. Certainly looking a lot better now for Canada, if anything. Nice double by Laws on the first one, can make a double right back here.
Right off. No. Anything, Jill. Go.
I'll double, roll. Wow. They get both of them out, and they roll dead buried.
That's 2 pistols from Caitlin Laws to save this end. You can see there was a bit of a confusion as to who would sweep. There only one sweeper allowed behind the tee line on an opposition stone, so when there's 2 of them, you're gonna have to choose McEwen and Jones wanting to sweep. But in the end, it's just good enough on its own.
I thought mine was going out. I think it's out.
Better than it was.
Way better.
Yeah, now it's advantage Canada right now.
I mean, she'd have to play it loose.
Yeah, what 3 stones ago, it looked like Russia had something set up to maybe score a 3.
Oh, yeah, Canada looked like they were up the river without a paddle. Well, got to sneak it past the front. We'll just get by. And we'll get rid of the 1 stone. Roll out in the open. Well, Canada has to be careful where they go now with this one. Took a look to see if that one was actually still in the rings.
Sorry, 9?
Yeah.
That one was real close to the front, and nose hit, the double, not really one that's going to keep the shooter.
It's gotten so much straighter.
Yeah, it has. Over there.
You think hit the top one or you freeze the back one?
Those are the 2 options, really. Play that and roll be really good. It's tougher to get there with the roll than the draw. Then LDC eliminate a yellow. It might be easier to bring that redstone and the 12 hit into play, potentially. And even if you don't make it, maybe Canada leaves you a double. But don't mind the draw here. I'd like to have shot stone here. Not sure if you get shot stone by completely freezing it on the nose on the back yellow, so keep a bit of an angle, maybe an inch or 2 of separation.
Moiseva, 2-time world junior bronze medalist, trying to keep their chances alive here in this one. Right down, don't over curl, and it looks like they will hang around and make sure they are. Second shot.
Helps. Missed shot from Jones as an open hit. At least they'll hit and roll for 2.
It's making a more difficult shot for Jennifer Jones, who's they've got some mistakes from in her draw game. Jennifer Jones hasn't missed anything percentage-wise on her hits, but just 57% on her draws.
Ideally, you're frozen to theirs, but it's just sweet for the tea kind of thing. That still looks like a lot. Do you think that's good?
I think it's close.
Okay. Just get the speed right.
Give this one to their sweepers, McEwen, Officer. Canada, the only unbeaten team, 8-0 coming in.
Line's good. Wait all day.
wanted to tighten the ice up. Comes down. Can you play off that one and spin them all? I don't know if that yellow will spin out.
Don't think so.
It's just getting, it's just a little bit. It's just sort of.
Skinny double, think it jams.
I think you have to draw down, take one.
Yeah, just enough for Jones. Line 2. Pretty much a must-make draw for Moiseva. Well, draw here, tie the game,
Yeah, it's still,
and you make Jones draw the forfeit for the win and the extra. Seeing her draw game a little faulty today. Better weight on that attempt from Jones, but not inch perfect.
Got to make this one first. Canada hasn't given up many steals in this competition. Make this, then you'll have to try and steal for the second time in this game.
It's a little heavy, I think. Hoping to maybe curl and chisel off the yellow and into the button.
face. Chip it, roll it in. And a good line call there. Porchanova able to help. That one from Moiseva to get one. And we are all square again. No surprise seeing a tight game. It is 7-7 heading to 10. Well, as we get down right near the last few ends of each of these games, Sweden still leading Japan 6-4, and they have the hammer, so a long way back for Japan, not wanting to drop their 5th game. While Switzerland trails Czech Republic 8-6 as they trade threes in 8 and 9. Switzerland needs 2 in the 10th to tie it up. 7-7 in our feature game on sheet C. And on sheet D, 6-5, Denmark leading Scotland as they wrap up the 9th end. We'll update you there as that end finishes on sheet D. We are playing session 15, the Ford World Women's Curling Championship, North Bay, Ontario. Just an update, it was 2 for Scotland over on sheet D. So 7-6, Scotland leads Denmark in the 10th end. Both those teams with 6 losses on sheet D. Scotland with 3-6 record, Denmark 2-6. Start with the halfway guard. As Russia needs to steal, Canada needs to score. They'll try and keep the forfeit open. Luke Coley, Sander Rovag. Thanks for tuning in, watching this one. It has been a good game, some mistakes, but some great shot making as well.
Yeah, and it all comes down to the 10th end tie game. That's what you're hoping for. We'll see a tick shot from McEwen to Just tapping it onto the rings. So not out of play. So no violation of the 3-guard zone. But leaves the shooter as a guard. We'll have the option to peel that yellow stone if they want to on their next one.
Actually, wouldn't be an interesting call to try and tuck this one just behind that other guard to make it hard to peel. Well, not wanting to peel their own, they're going to figure they'll leave the peel to Jill Officer. Get into the 4-foot right now. Don McEwen, both leads having good game, both at 97%.
I think it's smart to get in there early. You see when teams avoid doing it. The stealing team gets in there, finds a good spot, and they can keep guarding that for the rest of the end. If you get in there, top 4, just nibble the 4-foot, a lot tougher for your opponent to get in there for a good shot stone, but leaving a center guard, that is unforgivable for a lead in a 10th end with hammer.
Well, must have put the curse on her, saying playing well and then coming up short. Opportunity to get one in a good position now for Arsenkina.
Heavy here.
Some mistakes back and forth. That one right through the rings. Well, it's Sander first final. Sweden winning again. They bounce back after a loss last night. Their only loss to Canada. And that they ran Japan out of stones. So Japan drops to 4 and 5 with that as we see the peel here.
Nice tidy work.
Good job.
Russia to throw the long center guard. It's all about getting as much distance as possible here. Don't want to come into the house early, especially with that guard being yellow. You might see Canada just try and run it. It's tough to throw these long guards. You don't do it very often, not even the leads do that. So just to be able to pull back 15, 20 feet, it's not always that easy. And you can see this one just coming up heavy. And this is a chance to almost kill the game right here for Jill Officer.
Well, they only get rid of one. They are unable to make the double peel.
Well, that's a rare mistake from Jill Officer. She's 100% on her out-turn clearings so far this week. 75% on her out-turn doubles. So, pretty solid numbers. So, a lucky break for Russia to have a guard still, and now it's red even. So it's improved the situation a little bit for Moiseva and team.
Just need to make this come around.
Would have loved to stay top tee, but that is usable there.
I can get into a spot, and then you play a couple of peels, you come top 4 foot with your last.
Yeah, all about shrinking the scoring area to the point where you make your opponent, Skip, have to make a decision to draw or play the hit, potentially a double. This is the last stone now, like you say, top 4, top 8, nibble the forefoot. Make her really question what to do. It's not a bad situation for Russia here.
Well, it is a tie game. Russia 6-2 coming in. Canada 8-0. 7-7 tie. Canada with the hammer.
What you can't do is come into the house here. That is not great.
Needed that one out in front. Make the hit roll off to the side and outcount that other one. Could become a factor later in the end.
Especially with that stone back of the forefoot. Even if you throw a bad guard, it's hard to see Canada coming after the shot. If it's top button, sure, they would want to move it. But throw that anywhere in front of the house, they're just feeling it. This one over curling though.
Well, they touch it back a little bit, but they leave that stone out in front. That's the danger position.
You're good. Sorry, anymore. He's still finishing there.
Ну, если что, в конец, главное закрытый. Ну, не в конец, в смысле подальше.
Единичку. Хорошо. Мы вот побольше встали, потому что этот чуть побольше подваливает. Да, у Юрки вот 4 за пришел, единичка,
20. You want a good shot stone here. Top 4 is probably not deep enough. Leaves a double on the yellows. So as a sweeper, you want to be a little aggressive here. Try and maybe put it right on the tee line. And back button. And might force Jennifer Jones to play the draw. This is looking pretty good here. It's a pretty good draw.
Well, do you chase with the draw or do you play the run?
That's why I think that was a pretty good spot, because it's just in the spot where you're not sure if you're Canada to draw or play the run. Made the run as long as possible, but you still have to tap the red to get shot stone. So that's a very nice placement by Russia, and timeout by Canada.
I guess I just make that.
Well, they'll call timeout. It'll be a chance for Wendy Morgan to come down for the first time. She just got here today or yesterday and is working with the Canadian wheelchair curling team at the Paralympic Winter Games.
Like to run?
I think
It's
so.
either that or we freeze.
Yeah. I lean towards that.
Okay, if I miss the run, if I don't hit this one.
Yeah. I don't hate the freeze.
I'm
Well,
just
still
thinking,
Shannon
like, if I
Birchard,
don't
their
make
alternate who
contact
comes
on the
down.
run.
Yeah, she guards and
Do
we're.
you like the run or do you like the freeze?
I don't love the freeze. I just really don't like that top rock.
No, I
I don't
know.
mind trying the run, and if you run it into this one here, at least it's open. But I know then she's coming, you know.
Do you like the in turn or the out turn? The out turn will run a lot straighter.
Yeah, I kind of like the out.
Just because that in that you threw.
And if it does end up curling, then we catch it on this
The
side. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Okay. I think
ideally, do you want to hit it on this side, or do you
Well,
want to
Shannon
hit it
played with this team at the Canadian Championship at third.
Yeah. So I'd like to go this way.
Yeah,
So then we can get the guard off. I'm digging center line.
yeah, I like that.
Just
Playing
a
it
nice
to
turn,
cross
yeah.
the face of that red one. Try and pick that one out. Yeah, the freeze or the chase, chasing after a shot stone. If you miss it, you may not have a shot on your last, or it's a much more difficult one. This one, you're at least going to open it up.
Gonna slash it, try and roll, open up the forfeit. Even if you end up dead sticking it buried, might be really tough for Russia to get shot stone. Played well on her hits today, Jennifer Jones.
All the way here from the front end. Cross it, get the one, pick it out. And they'll sit for second, or shot stone, I should say.
Yeah,
that's a big factor.
Yeah, huge. That could be the saver, because Russia will come around once more. And if Jennifer Jones don't feel like playing the draw, she could play it the run again. And she wouldn't have to stick it for the win. She'll have this Yellowstone on the side here.
I have the draw the button
for the
now.
point.
Or I can play the run again, but probably just draw.
Depends a little bit where this draw ends up. If this is just top 4 around that yellow, it's a pretty short run back. Probably see Jennifer Jones play it. If this is right on the tee line, then again the run back's longer, but then also there's less room for the draw. But you feel like Jennifer Jones is the kind of skip that will almost call the draw either way, bring the team onto the shot, and she's made a few in the past as well.
Well, did they lose it? Gotta get past the front. They do. Hook it around. And goes back 4 foot. Oh, now they try and follow it down. Those nervous moments there, thinking they might have touched that front one.
Yeah, sweepers didn't want to sweep it because the weight was all there. So they're just trying to come as close to this yellow as possible. They didn't want to bring it deeper. Pops out a little bit on the other side.
They know the importance of this game. Get by. Always love the reaction and getting to hear what they're thinking and saying.
So just a foot deep. Leaves more room for Jennifer Jones. Only halfway in the forfeit. Struggle a bit on draws today, but you would think she'd be closest here. You got 2 good sweepers in Officer and McEwen as well to try and drag it there. Taking a moment here.
Well, her draw weight has been inconsistent throughout the game so far.
Feeling any nerves? Playing at home?
Well, there's always extra pressure. All eyes obviously on
Heavy.
Jennifer Jones. Hasn't lost a game yet. Nothing. Officer McEwen.
Never, ever, ever.
Just wanting this one to hit. This spot needs to curl, come down. As it comes down. That one came down. I thought that one was hitting the back line, at least.
Looked heavy coming down. Luckily had the backing. In the end had the line for it.
Watch this. Nothing from the sweepers. Just comes down, waiting for it to curl. Takes that curl right into the path to tap that redstone. Jennifer Jones, sigh of relief on that one as she escapes another win. Brent Lang's reaction, her husband, says it all.
Hi, Bella. Can't wait to see you tonight. Love you.
An 8-7 win for Canada, so they improve to 9-0, stay atop the standings. Russia drops to 6-3. I'll slide over last couple stones here. Denmark and Scotland. Denmark 2-6. Scotland 3-6.
Denmark needs 2 for the win. They're currently sitting 2. Means Hannah Fleming needs to make this double to take that away. Force Denmark to score their 1, push this game into the next round. Only get 1 though. It's a draw for the game for Jensen.
Well, a hit and roll away and unable to make that. So now Denmark, Angelina Jensen, chance to pick up the win, draw for 2.
Well, a bit of an upset. Quite a lot of experience for Jensen, but they are very much an amateur team. Playing against a young Hannah Fleming's team funded by Scottish Curling. But this needs to be made.
Got to draw this one into the 8-foot.
Real heavy, but do they have the backing on their own shot stone?
Well, starting to curl right up to it. And there it is to score the 2 and the victory for Denmark. That one curls up enough to score the deuce and a big 8-7 victory for Denmark as they knock off Scotland.
Another emotional win for Jensen. Losing their 4th player just before the championship, stepping up to play the 4th stones, and she's done pretty well. It's just a good experience for the Danish team. Probably didn't have too many expectations coming in, but now picking up a couple of wins and staying really competitive in a lot of games, showing they're no pushovers at all.
Well, our feature game, Russia, Canada, 6th end. Canada lying 2. Jennifer Jones said, I don't think this is here right before, so the out-turn draw now. Just have to drag it enough at the end, get into the button, and score 3 for Canada. Right back in the 7th end, Jennifer Jones sailed her draw right through, meaning Victoria Moiseva, the out-turn draw, pick up 3 right back and tie this game up again. No problem there, so 3 back for the Russian side. Opportunity to get 2 back as the Canadian side. Moiseva didn't roll. Caught in this tough spot, and Jennifer Jones does as well, and it noses it. They get 1, they measure for the 2nd, and it's only 1. And in 9, opportunity to try and tie the game up. Weren't able to generate their deuce. Victoria Moiseva, the in-turn draw. Tough path to get through. They call the line. They have to get the little rub, the little roll, get in to score their 1. Nicely done to tie this game up, send it to the 10th end, all square. And in 10, an open path to the 4-foot for Jennifer Jones. The out turn. Get this 1.
Heavy.
Into the 4-foot. Didn't like it right away. Thought it was heavy. Sweepers don't touch this one at all. As it actually curls up just enough at the end. And Canada picks up the win and stays unbeaten. As they are now 9-0 with that win. Well, as we are through 15 sessions, here's what happened in this session. Sweden beat Japan 6-4, while the Czech Republic defeats Switzerland 9-6. Canada, of course, you saw as winners over Russia, and Denmark beats Scotland 8-7. Which leaves us, after 15 sessions, 5 sessions remaining before the playoffs. Canada and Sweden have qualified for the playoffs. Canada 9-0, Sweden 9-1, and Korea at 6-2, Russia right behind at 6-3. Czech Republic with the win 5-4. Idle US is at 4-4. Then Japan 4-5. China, Denmark, Switzerland all at 3-6. Scotland 3-7. Denmark or Italy 2-7, and Germany rounds out the field at 1-7. As that wraps up session 15, 2 more to go today. Here, Sandra Rovak, myself, Luke Coley, thanks for tuning in to the Ford World Women's Curling Championship.